that people in the United States and elsewhere will be mindful and thoughtful of what is happening in the Maldives and elsewhere. We need to find solutions for climate change. And in my mind, it is possible for us to do that. John, of course, has done an excellent piece of work with the film. I never thought that he was actually embarking on such a huge journey as making this film. We thought that he was just taking footage. I never thought that he was going to come out with this beautiful and brilliant film. And I'm glad that you have been able to watch it. And I hope that you found some useful information from the film. Thank you.
Early on, when we were pitching the president on this idea, when we went to the Maldives and we were trying to explain what we would like to do, we found ourselves kind of grasping for examples of films that could be in the style or subject matter of the film that we wanted to make, and we realized that we could show him films that were observational in nature and that had this incredible access, and we could show him films about politics, but we couldn't find a film that had the kind of access that we wanted from a sitting head of state. So I have to applaud President Nasheed and the guts that it took to allow a film crew in and to really put his money where his mouth was when it came to talking about good governance and transparency in governments. To get a film like this done obviously takes a lot of work on behalf of the film crew, but to get the access to go in and to film these kinds of things that we did over the course of 2009 really is just absolutely historical, and it wouldn't have happened if President Nasheed didn't have that trust in transparency.
Well, one of the things about the dictatorship was that it was very secretive. Everything was done behind curtains, and no one was able to see how the government was working. And so therefore, we thought that this was important, that people were able to see how we worked. I'm sure you are now completely fed up with government. John certainly was a nuisance. He had his camera on us all throughout for almost 1 year. And I'm glad now that this has happened. Never thought that this today would be like this. But therefore, it is so much more important that the film is seen here, and that you understand the intricacies of what is happening in the Maldives as well as what is happening in climate change negotiations. We are still not anywhere near finding a global understanding on what we need to do and how the situation may be addressed. But we must keep on working. I feel that in 2009, in Copenhagen, we had an understanding among 25 heads of states. And there was an agreement. I certainly saw that there was an agreement among us, although it was not recognized as a legally binding agreement. It was registered in COP16 that here was a piece of paper where 25 heads of states have agreed upon certain measures. We now have to go into the details of that and make sure that we have this understanding. I am optimistic, and I believe that it can be done, and we must just continue to keep working on it. I can assure you that I will not stop, and we will hopefully have this agreement before this very small window of opportunity is closed and we go into the doomsday scenarios that we've all been very worried about. I believe in human ingenuity, and I do believe that humanity has the capacity to come up with solutions. We have come up with many, many solutions in many, many different situations. And in my view, we can do it again and again and again, and we must save the world.
question, just raise your hand and right here, sir.
Can you go back and forth now? And are you permanently, sort of, have been pushed out and you can't go back? Or what is the situation?
They would rather if I didn't go back, but I will go back.
Hold on.
My question goes to why did this happen? Was it just an internal situation, or were there larger forces, including my own governance, behind the support of the coup?
I always like to believe that people are good, that people in general would not want to do bad. I was shocked by your government and the Indian government recognizing the coup so swiftly and instantly. But I am encouraged because gradually they are realigning themselves with the situation on the ground. And I would hope, and I will keep on hoping, that they will understand the intricacies of what is happening and hopefully push for early elections in the Maldives and restore democracy back there.
Yes, right here. Yes, sir.
Yes, welcome. Thank you. Marvelous film. In that scene, it looked like your first meeting as the leader of your nation. You had mentioned that you were going to seek kind of accountability for the previous regime and possibly discover possibly untold fortunes that were concealed or kickbacks and such. Did you get very far with that? And if you did, what did you discover?
One of the things that we were trying to do was break away from the past. Up until 2008, all the transfers of power in the Maldives has been very, very violent. And we did not want to go for a witch hunt. We did not want to purge the military and the police. And we were trying to see if we could work out from within and reform the institutions and build capacity in independent institutions. But of course, we didn't have the time. We are now out of government. But I will keep on working, and we will come back again, and we will probably do exactly the same mistakes as before. Which is not going for a witch hunt.
Right here.
President, what do you think of the way the UNFCCC has reframed the climate process, treaty process around a green economy as opposed to climate? And what do you hope to be the outcomes of Rio+20?
Well, we've been advocating for that all throughout the last 3 years. We felt that the UNFCCC process was rather silly. It was, in a sense, if both of us agreed on something, and if she did not agree, we dilute our understanding to accommodate her. And at the end, we would come up with a document that was useless and not worth the paper it was written, because you are seeking for the lowest common denominator. And also you are asking people and countries to give up life by reducing carbon emission. But on the other hand, the new thinking goes that you can encourage renewable energy and therefore limit carbon emission through more positive measures instead of negative measures. Instead of asking people to cut down on energy consumption, the new thinking would ask people to invest in renewable energy, which would hopefully come to the same thing. We hope that the idea will catch up with people's imaginations. We also hope that all the kind of obstacles that would be brought up by oil companies can be overcome by renewable